All right, Helldivers, we have a super unique video that we are bringing you today. So as you can see, I've got my teammate on my right here. And what we're going to be doing today is actually breaking down a game that we just finished. So rewatching it back, talking about the strengths and some of our weaknesses, and kind of digging into the things that we can do better. But that actually leads me to why we are making the video. So for us today, there's 4 major things that we're going to be looking to break down and improve on in this game. So Justice, why don't you break down, or at least let the viewer know what those 4 things are today?
All right, those are going to be utilizing team weapons and just me and him. How are we going to use our auto cannon together? The second is strat combos, using those combos effectively to do a multiplicity of damage. The next one is ambushing targets, setting up with communication how we're going to hit them. We're going to hit them fast, going to hit them hard. And the last one is fortification. When we got to fall back, how are we going to set up a home base where they are not going to be able to penetrate us?
So in this mission, we only had 3 stratagem slots. So Justice actually went with a bold move that I think worked out for us. Is he actually ditched his backup weapon, or his special weapon, for just an airstrike. And the plan is survive 8 minutes, make sure I keep my auto cannon so that I can just drop him the next one. So that's the plan. It was bold. We've never actually tried this before, so got to survive 8 minutes.
And you know what? There's been a lot of complaining, and I'm not going to say I disagree about the fact that they handcuff you at times with only 3 stratagems. And I understand people's rationale, but also sometimes those hard decisions that are meant to be tough, they actually create some interesting decision making. And for me, that came to not bringing in a secondary weapon, because I can find one on the map, or I can get one for my partner. So I think I could put together something a little bit more effective, right? All right, what's happening here on our list? This is number 3, ambush.
Yeah, so if you heard our in-game comms right now, I'm telling him I have the autocannon, right? So I'm telling him snipe the little guys, and let's try and make sure bot drop doesn't happen. I'm looking at the Rocketeer. So on 3, we start our assault, and I'm just totally focusing the bigs and letting him try and take care of the smalls. We executed relatively good, but there was a small behind that was able to get the bot drop off. So not a 10 out of 10, but I think the communication was there.
Did I throw my deployable turret down already?
No,
I did not.
No, early game, I think we're just kind of relying on our guns. I tried something pretty body right here. I'm trying to shoot these smalls with this auto cannon to get some splash damage, but it doesn't really work.
And this could go unnoticed, but this is a type of fortification we're using right here.
Yep.
If you're gonna make a good ambush, you should have a little bit of a fallback plan, and this ridge is just perfect for us. There's a tank, but it can't touch us. If it comes up this ridge, we're gonna be ready for it, and it gives us time to get our strats off, get our autocannon hits in.
No, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, I guess something that we should talk about right now. So we're running level 7 suicide mission, which I think is definitely a difficult setting. And then also this is on the 2nd layer of the automaton kind of map. In my opinion, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I do feel like this is a tougher... I feel like some of the maps, just like Mabalian Creek, Vietnam, as they say in the community, it's a little tougher. I think this map kind of hits that as well. So I think we're sitting in a bit of a 7.5 and an 8 difficulty. If people think that's fair. So I think we got our work cut out for us here. And like Justice said, it's important to make sure you actually have a defensive position, because at this level of difficulty, you're just probably going to lose if you don't.
So the reason I came back here was I saw that my mortar that is supposed to be firing over there, is the idea, was focused on these littles over here, so I knew I needed to come clean them up. I did tell my partner here that he should fall back to this point of strength with me. There was some miscommunication there, and that never happened, which, in a situation where they can come from 4 sides, you don't want to get separated when you're trying to use team play, which unfortunately happens to us here. I don't know how many shots I get on this backpack with the upgraded sniper. Wasn't that surprising?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you can take those out usually in about 1 clip with the marksman rifle, so maybe you got a little bit less damage on that, I'm not sure.
Okay, so again here, I'm thinking fortification. I could take those guys head on. I don't have the autocannon yet. I think it's not a play I want to make, so I think I'll get it right over that dune, which it didn't make its way far enough. And I'm hoping it loads in pointed in the direction of my enemies, and I got unlucky, so I'm obviously yelling at the people out there.
Guy just went for it. Yeah, I mean, we got separated a little bit there. I make an aggressive play here and just throw him right back near his turret. Yeah, we got split up, but I was able to pop the Seath artillery there, which I don't know. It doesn't seem to work for us all game. I was pretty happy to have gotten that on our side, but I think it's supposed to shoot out bot drops, and I don't think that happened. But
guys, not a lot of people use this deployable man turret here, and when you see that, it might make you change your mind. Deletes those in about a quarter of a second. Sorry to cut you off, Isaiah.
No, I mean, that thing's super strong. Like, I think in Soul, one of the reasons you probably don't see a ton of gameplay for it is, I don't know, in the videos that I personally have come across my feed, they're either, you know, really just 4 stacks of guys. And when you 4 stack in this game, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe not Helldive, but this difficulty, if you had 4 players on this difficulty, you're not really going to struggle, and for most cases. So you're not going to see people run a turret like that in that situation. And then you see solo runs a lot, and it's, I don't know, that turret's probably not usable by yourself. But yeah, I mean, if you're in a situation where you feel like you're on a high enough level where it'd be necessary and you have a buddy and all the pieces fit together, I mean, that turret's definitely super strong. Yeah, that gun.
So if you guys were listening to our conversation here, I look around the corner, I see that guy. Obviously, it'd be stupid for me to take him head on, so I say to my partner, get around to the corner. We have a bunch of HUD elements shut off, so we can't actually pin. We're trying to focus on our vocal communication. So he had to take a second to work his way around there, and then we're just able to get that guy in a pinch. He has to choose the side. The other guy hits him from behind. Pretty simple stuff. So this game, it's a lot of ambush. It's a lot of ambush and looking for a place to set up our fallback fortification right here.
Yeah, let's maybe help the viewer understand what's going on here. So you see on my map here, so we've got 2 different bases. One's our objective, and one's just a secondary base. So the plan kind of is to be able to take both at the same time. So right now we're trying to time up our mortars, right? The second you bring in a sentry, it's going to start shooting and it's going to blow your position. So we actually mess this up a little bit. Right now we're kind of talking, okay, should we go up on this dune? Should we go down a little closer so our sentries can make sure they actually reach? What we should have done, and you're going to see the mistake in a second, is he brings in his mortar sentry right here, which we wanted the HMG replacement first. Oh, never mind. Okay, maybe I misremembered how that went. Okay, in any case, so yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to time up right now, is not blowing our cover. So he's going to bring in his mortar sentry right now. I'm bringing in mine. We should throw them about at the same time.
I'm aiming to throw mine behind cover.
Yeah,
as you know, that thing doesn't need a line of sight.
Yeah, so we've got 2 mortars down. The second these mortars engage, my Eagle airstrike should pop. So that's kind of what I'm timing up right now. So that Eagle's gonna, yeah, so the sentries just came in. My Eagle airstrike's gonna hit 1 second. You destroy the objective while you have this just massive amount of offensive capability on the board. So I think that worked out pretty good. We do end up getting bogged down a little bit here. But in any case, like one of our objectives, and we talked about fortification, like he was saying, we do have that going on in spades,
So I like to carry a dedicated call-in just to deal with tanks. Isaiah's good on his autocannon dealing with tanks too. Yeah, we got pinched here, which is unfortunate. It happens to me a lot when using the man turret because, yeah, you can't see all sides.
yeah, and I mean, for me on my screen, I just kind of got surrounded by the chainsaw guys, which personally just ruined my games. And then the tank, I probably just should have fallen back there, but I got probably a little too aggressive on the tank. But just gotta get right back in there. Without my autocannon in this situation, I'm pretty much useless. So that's my main focus, is getting my gun back in my hands. Hopefully we can get there. We get rid of these guys pretty easy, which is good. They pushed into us. And now we'll kind of start our offensive push back into the fold.
But obviously, there we start to get hit a little bit. I want to throw him back into where we have cover. We can drop back to a place where, yeah, we can mount an effective defense.
Yeah, pretty much the last thing here is the tank. I'm working on getting my autocannon back. He yells for the rail cannon strike. That's no problem with me. Get that out of the game. The most beautiful sound in the game is that rail cannon strike hitting. Yeah, so we're doing pretty decent. So we're already 10 minutes into the run, 25% of the way there. I'm already starting to kind of watch the clock and go, okay, like, we're doing okay. But the nice thing is obviously I still have my autocannon.
Let's just recognize that placement. Do we think this turret's gonna last?
Yes. Perfect placement.
Oh, I thought it was your turret.
Oh.
I thought I was about to shoot it down. Nice. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, the clock management, I think at this point we are, I don't know, I think at this point we've kind of said, all right, we're just going to try and max this out and get like 5 stars was kind of what we were going for. So if you're trying to do that 30 minutes out, you already still have 2 objectives to go. You know, you really got to start to push the pace here a little bit. If you have watched our recent video, you would know that it was all kind of about stealth and playing tactically. This video, it is a bit more of that, playing, maybe ditching a bit of the stealth aspects when necessary to push the pace and be aggressive when it makes sense, right? To be able to move through the map fluidly. It's going to be pretty much impossible to get 5 stars when playing stealth unless you watch those sweats,
you know,
that play Helldive and are able to do it. So
last time we were playing like Marines, you know, get in and silent. This time, Isaiah, educate the viewer who in the military is the hammer that comes in without being seen and finishes it before it gets started.
The assassin.
The assassin. All right.
The KGB.
I'm thinking the Air Force or something like that. Maybe we're like the drone guys in Kansas City.
No, that's fair. So in one of our objectives, and we can kind of bring those up on the screen periodically to remind you guys, we had strat combos there. And I mean, because of the lack of a slot, you can't put, it makes it a little more difficult to put combos together. And a combo to me is when you literally have one thing working in tandem with something else, right? So for him, he's got his stun turret. And for me, the only thing I can really do here is have my sentry turret and then my eagle airstrike kind of working together to kind of just hit the enemy with a ton of firepower in 1 second. So in that last base push, I did manage to do that. So I think we're starting to see those strat combos happening a little bit. And then right there, that was some good communication. You know, he was kind of getting pushed by a bunch of guys. I'm on the outside. I'm saying to him, hey, dude, just focus on the guys in front of you. I'm hitting the guys that are way behind. So we were able to get out of that pinch.
New mag.
If you are still watching, hot take, I think the autocannon's the best gun in the game. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree.
I got in right at the right time. I didn't know those guys were there. Yeah, the enemy turrets are not very high powered.
So I think this is a pretty good play, and this is the beauty of the autocannon, right? I'm able to delete these 2, I mean, I would call these big enemies, maybe not the biggest in the game, but 2 big enemies in 1 clip. Quick reload. I don't know. I mean, compared to the recoilless rifle, I just don't think I could ever go back. This thing's just so much stronger and a lot more fun to use, if I'm honest.
I think my favorite animation in this game is watching ATT walkers collapse.
Yeah, that's not bad. So right here, and again, Jess has touched on the fact that we don't have some of our HUD elements, right? So we don't have name bars over top of who we are, so that makes it a little more difficult for us to communicate. I'm obviously getting bogged down by this tank or Hulkbuster. I mean, if you're alone against a Hulk, it's pretty difficult because you just can't, it's almost impossible to get behind them. So yeah, we kind of got bogged down a little bit too long here, and that's where that vocal communication can get a little bit better so that we can kind of team up on this guy quickly.
But I mean, just the classic, I told him, I'm not too far behind you, just duck and take cover, try to survive, I'll hit him in the back soon, I'll take his attention, and then we switch, and yeah, you just play that game with them.
And now, I mean, I touched on the clock a minute ago, now we're really starting to fight the clock. I mean, you got 25 minutes to go. We still have 2 main objectives to do, and army after army is starting to come up onto us. So Yeah, being able to navigate, we do a better job of it near the end, I feel like, but being able to navigate through the map and not fight every single thing you see is essential, especially if you're trying to 5-star mission like we're trying to do right now. So with that said, I see that army and I say, okay, I'm good. I'm going to bank right around here. We're a little bit separated. So trying to kind of team up, get our resupplies back in the game before we kind of get into another big brawl here.
I was just standing around the map trying to figure out where he was until his blue laser finally came up.
Yeah, I think I could encourage you guys to play like that, you know, shutting some HUD elements off. It's something I love to do in games, even if it's just a few of them. Like, it just adds different dynamics into how you play and like different skills you have to work on. So yeah, turn off where your teammates are, and then it will encourage kind of actual vocal communication instead of just, oh, there you are, right? Which I think is fun.
Yeah, we'll probably play around with the future in the future of how far we can take that, removing the HUD elements. I know if you ask the guy on my left, he would like to memorize the stratagems and take everything right off.
Yeah, it's part of the plan. Yeah, if you guys want, that video will drop probably in the next couple weeks. So if that sounds interesting to learn how to play without a HUD, the whole HUD, definitely subscribe and you'll see that in the future. One thing I'm interested in here, so I'm throwing an eagle. I dropped this, right? And I said out loud, that's a perfect eagle airstrike. I was actually starting to debate taking the eagle off of my loadout. And I don't know, I think it's maybe just a matter of getting better at the game. But if I was to boast, the eagle airstrike is deadly, man. And I'm in this game, I think I have like 4 just perfect placements inside the round. So I don't know, I'm starting to think it's one of the strongest. Obviously, it's like the base airstrike you get, or one of the first ones. But I do think it's one of the strongest. So my loadout, eagle airstrike and autocannon, I think that's one of the best. Let me know what you think.
You know, something I've been considering and that I wouldn't mind trying, because, you know, it is great to get an high eagle streak. But all the time we're seeing massive grenade streaks, right? And I had the thought today, what if I was just carrying a supply pack on my back and could just rifle off grenades almost endlessly? I'm not really sure how many grenades the supply pack holds, but if anyone's tried it, let us know if it's a good alternative. As you'll see here, me and him are going to have a little grenade throwing competition. And I would like to be able to do this pretty much endlessly.
And this touches on number 3. Number 3 of our talking points is ambush. We were out of airstrikes here, and we said, all right, let's go for the grenade spam. He goes for 21. I don't get a single one. I'm not sure how that works, but he beat me up pretty good in that little competition. But ambush, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. No bot drops called in. And just kind of being resourceful and saying, okay, let's not just shoot these guys up. Yes, we don't have airstrikes. Let's just use our nades and get it done, right? Again, time is against you now, so you don't want to get bogged down. One miscue there on just a pile of bots, and now you have a bot drop with a tank, and you just lost 2.5 minutes on your clock, right? So I think right here we're thinking again, kind of the play that you saw at the start of our kind of our base push. And I think when I said we made a mistake, this is what I was talking about.
I put it in the wrong turret.
Yeah, so he brings in the mortar, and I'm saying, like, I was kind of trying to set up what we're going to do, but now I know, okay, they're about to start shooting, which means the base is going to be alerted. It's time to get in there. So my move here, get the autocannon down quickly with his turrets as well. I'm telling him, you're going to need to watch that because I'm going into the base. Get the eagle. Again, this is a pretty good eagle airstrike, I think. And when we cut back to Justice's screen, I mean, we've got a pretty nice setup here. I'm attacking from the left with a nice eagle. My sentry's going to work.
I love that it took out the blockade there for me to have a line of sight to fire in the camp.
So yeah, we've got a pretty good setup here. But unfortunately for me, I kind of, again, since we rushed this, I get bogged down and I'm on the outside with nowhere to get into the base. And we're gonna see what happens to me.
And for me, there are enemies right on my right here that I know are close to killing me, but I knew I had to get rid of that Hulk to save Isaiah. Yeah, so I focused that. I wanted to take out that Rocketeer, but these guys were right here, so I went to take them out, and the Rockets have devastated got me, so I made the wrong decision there. Yeah.
And see, if I had my autocannon right beside him, maybe we got a better situation for him to sit in that
100%.
man turret, right? But that was just the rush nature of our mistake, right? And in a recent video, we kind of touched on this. We touched on this aspect of the game, but one of the reasons I think this game's super cool is the kind of the ripple effect that the game has, right? Every mistake you make, 2 minutes, like, you die, right? And now, so we're seeing me respawn him in the game. And that is happening because of a decision made 2 minutes before, right? And sometimes it can be even more dramatic, and it's a decision that was made 3 to 4 minutes before. Maybe he was using an airstrike incorrectly, and now you don't have it against a new big army. So, yeah, I mean, keep that in mind when you play this game, that your decisions really do matter with the success of your perfect runs. You know, if you're really trying to conserve lives and get those 5 stars.
So I just have a very small sight line for guys that I know are chasing Isaiah. This is a fun, cool kind of one to see. These guys are right in front of him, and I just have this one little gap here. I'm just trying to give a little bit of support to.
Mag's empty.
And guys made it on my right again. Don't know how it happened.
Well, and
Didn't
again,
notice them. There's
but
a
I mean,
tank.
right after we got rid of those guys, I was already looking to get back into the base. I was not even concerned at all about his 6 o'clock and actually supporting him. And there it is again, right? I essentially killed a teammate there. But I think I learned my lesson. Get behind the tank here. And that's the beauty of the autocannon. 3 shots to the back. 1 second, tank's gone. So now we got a bit of clearance, I think, and now we can kind of start to move into the base. So I guess if I had a critique of that, it would be, it wouldn't, like, I just looked at our number 4 was fortification. I think we had that. I think the ambush was relatively good. But I think it was just a bit of a rush job. You know, probably should have got rid of the bot drops before entering the base. So.
Objective critical stratagem no longer available.
Requesting objective equipment. Requesting objective equipment. Dropship.
So again, this is one of those eagles that I'm pretty proud of. The eagle was just my best friend in this game. Go for 22 there with that eagle. One last little bot to get rid of there. Quick pop around the corner. Get rid of them, and then I can kind of go into the computer. So yeah, I mean, I reiterated, I think the eagle's super strong, especially in these newer, like these higher levels when there's a lot more bigs on the board. And it's capable of actually taking them out. So I know a lot of people run the laser. The laser's obviously super strong as well, but the spamming potential of the airstrike is why I like it as well, right? You can throw 2 in about 15 seconds. I'm working on upgrading that to be able to get 3 per rearm. I think once you do that, you could really cause a lot of damage on the board.
Have you bought the 50% reduced cooldown time?
No, that's next. So I saw through 2. So
Yeah.
I mean, I probably.
Well,
probably
because then
won't
you'll have 3 and 14 seconds total.
Yeah,
By the
I
end.
guess. Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in a pinch, you could just spam it with the eagles. I mean, my ideal loadout later, once I upgrade my ship a bit more, will probably just be 3 eagles. 3 eagles with probably an autocannon. And just, yeah, I mean, you're going to have per rearm, you could have 3, 5, 7 eagle airstrikes. So, I mean, that's essentially 7 stratagems every 4 minutes. So you could be putting a stratagem into the mix every 30 seconds or so, which is, I think, pretty awesome.
Took a while to get through it.
All right, so we got 15 minutes left, 2 objectives down, and see, at this point, I'm actually starting to feel pretty good about time. Cut to my screen here. This is, again, a beauty of the autocannon. These cannon turrets, they ruined our games there for a couple days, and we just didn't have a way to effectively deal with them. Learning that the autocannon can take them down in 3 shots, honestly, has just changed the complete complexion of our runs. So if that's something that you struggle with, those cannon turrets, because they just caused a lot of problems for us, definitely you could consider that play you just saw right there.
We decided to forego that base for now. Isaiah wanted to get the next mission done and said we'll hit that back before exfil. So we'll see about that. Will they get the base down? Stick around for a few more minutes.
I guess one other talking point here. This is that for any of you guys that have the battle veterans battle pass, the AR I'm using is that that last upgradable gun. I don't know if I love it. It's nice because you can one-shot bots, one bullet, but yeah, I don't know if I love it. You guys should let me know what you guys think.
So we do this fight where I think a tank's gonna get in here soon. 25 minutes through. Of our 4 things,
Right.
utilizing team weapons, strat combos, ambushes, fortifications, where would you rank our success and failure going through those 4 so far?
Well, utilizing team weapons, I would say probably a 0. Isn't that funny timing? Yeah, a little team kill. Wouldn't be Helldivers without a team headshot, would it? Yeah, I don't know. I would say team weapons is 0, but the thing is the autocannon's such a quick reload that you just don't really need your teammate to reload you. So that's, I guess, one of the positives of it, but from a game development standpoint, it's a little bit unfortunate because you don't really have to work with your buddy on it. Strat combos, I'd give it like a 5 or a 6 right now because, again, we did miss a slot, so it kind of limits your ability to put one stratagem with another stratagem together. We could probably communicate a bit better of lining up maybe some of our airstrikes together. Ambush, I would say ambush, it honestly is like a 10 out of 10. I think our ambushing has been really good, and we've been resourceful, whether it's giving it every stratagem we have, turrets with airstrikes, with autocannons, or in the one clip you saw just using grenades. So I would say ambush a 10 out of 10, and fortification honestly as well. Like fortification, the initial fortification's been super good, but it's mostly been me being too aggressive and leaving it too early. That I would say has kind of been why the fortification hasn't worked in a huge way. But
I think at times with the fortification, I've either been a little bit lazy finding the perfect spot for my man turret. You know, ideally, you would want to be almost closed in on every side but the front, just so you can't be surprised. And the second part just gotten a bad bounce. You know, sometimes they bounce, sometimes they don't, and it's ended up in a wacky spot. But I want to make sure I get that turret in the perfect spot that I'm going to be able to stay there and help out the entire time without needing to get distracted by something, for sure.
Yeah, so right now, giving an update, kind of, you got a lot of stuff coming at you right now as a viewer. Another eagle there, just throw the eagle and get lost. I'm pretty confident that's going to take out that whole base. And yeah, right now, so we got the mortars on us, right? We got the intel from high command there that the mortars were dropping in. So for me personally, when mortars get into the mix, that's kind of my number one thing, is go and get rid of those as quick as possible. So that's kind of where we are on the board now, is get the mortars out, then we can finish our last objective. There's no point, I mean, unless you don't have time to go for your objective instead of the mortars, because it's going to make it significantly more difficult, and you might lose the game, as happened to me as I was running onto exfil playing. So something to keep in mind.
You know, what's funny is I throw 4 grenades into the center of that, and Ricky here throws his his eagle in there, and we see another explosion that we've had plenty of out in this ambush heavy game. It's funny because our last video was about sometimes playing better is about less explosions, you know, and playing stealthy, and we honestly did have a really good run there. And now it's the opposite, and what we're loving about this game and what that shows is there's many ways to skin a cat, and especially in a mission like this that is about taking out enemy facilities.
Yeah.
You might be better served going heavy-handed approach like this.
Sure. The clip you would have just saw on the screen, we weren't talking about it actively, but you would have seen either Justice looping to the tank or me in the stun bubble dancing essentially with the tank, trying to avoid him. Again, good communication, just trying to stay alive. I'm not trying to kill the tank. Let your teammate come in, make sure you communicate with them, and they'll come clean it up. Because so often this game you get put in bad positions, which I was in a horrible position right there. So just playing patiently, trusting your teammate to kind of have your back.
No hero ball.
No hero ball. So we got one objective to go now, so we're resupplied up. We should have most of our stratagems back in the mix. 10 minutes to go. I mean, realistically, that's not bad. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been in spots where you've had one objective left with 3 or 4 minutes left. So
Darkness, my old friend.
So what happened right there? I looked the corner and I said, Rocketeer, watch out.
right.
And instantly
Yeah.
he gets blown up by a rocket. So I wish I got that call in a second earlier.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm seeing out of that is, yeah, you can talk about communication, but if you are playing alone and you're saying, okay, I'm sitting down today to beat a Helldivers mission, whatever, by myself with no deaths, right? Well, if you want to do that, you better not make a false move, because I literally made one step past that cliff and a Rocketeer just blew my head right off. So
And he just ran in front of me while I'm sniping
And
enemies,
yeah, no,
so I
exactly,
almost
yeah.
got hit again there, which
yeah.
got to be conscious of when you're playing with a sniper.
No, definitely. I mean, this is a cool game in that way that if you want to have a perfect run, like you gotta you don't have to play perfect, but you gotta definitely have your wits about you and put even a little mistakes like the wrong path while you're going to the next objective might be the difference. So
Now, see how I just sniped that guy? I didn't even see there was a turret to the left, and he never even saw me. I mean, I feel like the more I play this game, I'm probably going to snipe a little more liberally, because sometimes I think I don't want to out myself, but you can do a pretty good job sniping guys out and they don't know what direction you are.
how sighted in are you on that scope? You know?
I think a little too far.
Yeah.
I change it at some point, but
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think I probably changed it by now already, but I'm not sure.
yeah, I mean, just something that I find to be fun about the game, and like just a helpful, criticism to my partner here. Okay, actually, I'll talk about that after. So this is probably our best ambush of the game. So we get rid of that little outpost pretty easily, right? So I'm trying to play a little bit fast. I could probably call him up here, but I said, okay, Juice, I'm calling in a sentry. I get the sentry down. I tell him to get his as well. I get the eagle right into the middle of this base, and again, we should get a perfect time up with my autocannon sentry shooting its first shot, and I just give you guys an angle of the jet. So it doesn't look bad. And by the time I even look back from my airstrike, the entire base is gone, absolutely demolished, and then Justice is able to clean up the last couple guys with that. But that's the beauty of a stratagem combo, right? Is our number 2 stratagem combo is a nice placed turret with airstrike, and you can pretty much wipe the whole objective, and then here's Justice cleaning up everybody else.
I really like that moment. Just I saw the bot drop of ATs coming in, and I was able to kill them all before they dropped out of the ship. So the ship just dropped a bunch of legs, which 100%. I thought was funny.
Yeah, but back to that talking point, it's like adjusting. So when I'm using like one of the marksman rifles in the game, I will actively switch between 2550 and 100, or 2575 and 150 throughout the whole game. It takes half a second or less to switch your scope, but for the different circumstances, whether it be sniping from far away or playing close, it's going to make a massive difference. So for you, honestly, I would encourage like just getting used to switching your scope between fights. Yeah. And it's just one of those little things that like a lot of people probably don't think about. But I actually just think it makes the game more fun, because it's literally like an extra little wrinkle that you can have into how you play the game. So
not sure what's up with those random times a guy launches 200 feet in the air, but you gotta love it. I'm just gonna give another shout out here to this turret I run here. That was a big group there, and I know there's a lot of weapons that could have taken them out, but it really feels good to mow down 20 guys in a matter of 3 seconds.
100%.
You get that thing on a high point, it is fun to use. And obviously this was an ambush, but this high spot, it also just works great as a fortification. We basically got a stone wall below us, and I know no one's ever going to be able to hurt me up here.
Yeah, see, so he just switched the scope there. You just switched.
Yep.
Yeah. But way easier. You just hitting those.
So I was actually then, if I just switched it close, I was far before, but yeah, it's still not great for close up.
Yeah. So again, watching that clock now. So again, we said we wanted to do a 5 out of 10. Or sorry, a 5 out of 5 stars mission here. So we've got one more outpost to do. You see on my screen, I'm dodging that fight, right? My mind now is just entirely on the clock because we obviously still have to exfil. So our kind of objective here is just how to, you know, duck and weave your way through these maps and not attract every single enemy on the board. Because again, it is essential if you want to play these higher missions where you can get a lot more samples and a lot more XP. You're gonna have to be able to do that, is avoiding fights when necessary. So we got one more base to take out. In the meantime, Just, how would you kind of rank? We're near the end of our run there. How would you kind of rank our 4 utilizing team weapons, stratagem combos, 3 ambushing, and 4 fortification?
You know what? I think it feels easiest to say ambush because a lot of times it has been so easy, but I would probably lean more into the fortification there because yes, your eagles have been so deadly and the ambushes have been good, but some of it comes with just, there's another good grenade ambush we have here actually. Part of it comes with a map that has so much elevation change like this, is you're able to fortify a spot so well. And I don't feel like we got, sure we lost some lives at some points, but we never got stuck in really bad spots, and that's because it felt like we always had a good position and then another fallback close by. So as someone who that's probably their most valued one, I would say the fortification. Ambush coming in second.
Well, so ambush, this isn't exactly an ambush, I want you to continue, but this is something to keep in mind. This cannon turret would ruin our game if it didn't go down. It would have a shot at us at the exfil. So I say to him, let's shoot at this together. Let's have 100% certainty that we're going to get rid of this, because if I miss a shot and it's able to spin, then we're fucked. So anyways, you can carry on with your thought process there.
Yeah, and our strat combos, there's not a lot to it. It's pretty much let's get our turrets around each other so that they can just be one fortified strong point. We didn't really have the diversity to make a really strong impact on that one, so that'll be something to chase harder in the next time we play. And that goes hand in hand with the team weapons too. It's almost unfortunate that this auto cannon's so good. Maybe if we want to give ourselves more challenge, we'll have to work with one that takes more team operation, but if it's a meta right now, I'm sure something will change.
Well, and I mean, we don't use the orbital laser, which obviously I think is the best one in the game. Back to the gameplay here. So I just got another 17 spree with Eagle Airstrike again. That was definitely the MVP of the game. But the unfortunate thing is, this is where we do get bogged down. This was our biggest mistake in the game. We're fighting the clock. We got 2 minutes left, right? So I place my sentry and I use my airstrike. We've got Justice on the outside, just kind of playing defense essentially to make sure that we're going to be able to extract. But the problem is I put my airstrike on like the downside of the base, not the upper side. So, you know, I'm 40 hours into this game, a level 22, which I would assume is probably a little higher than most players and maybe most people out. And I didn't really get a great survey of the actual base's structure, right? So I just saw one automaton factory and said, okay, that's where I'm putting my airstrike. When in reality, I needed to put the airstrike on the other side. I needed to place it on the back side. And because of that decision, you know, spoiler alert, we're not able to defeat this base. I go down, Justice gets me back. We're pretty much out of time. The only thing on my mind now is to try to get my samples, which, I mean, honestly, are super important, at least at this point in the game's life cycle for us.
It's necessary to get a guy in the base, but something that I would argue would have helped us here. I know we're running low on time, but I have such an easy job some of these times from the outside that I think if you have the loadout, that you can clear it out from the outside first, from a position of strength, and then even the two of you go in together. It's maybe something that I would say is worth a try for the way we're running this. To 2 on the outside, then 2 in. Always fight from the position of strength.
Sure.
But
So yeah, 20 seconds left. I'm yelling at him now. Get any stratagems on the board that you can, right? I mean, it probably goes without saying, but if you're getting near the end of that mission clock, I have an autocannon on. I just throw another one in, right? Just get it down, right? You're not gonna be able to call it again in 5 seconds. I was screaming at him, just get your HMG in place when your big man turret, get it down. It's gonna be gone. So definitely when that mission clock's starting to go down, you're gonna lose your stratagems. Just get him into the mix. There's literally no point in not doing it.
you know what is the nice thing about running thing till the end of the clock? Is my last couple times playing, I've been getting a 4-minute extraction. And this one, you can be outside of the extraction point. It's gonna bring it in for you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not stuck in a tough spot there. I don't think that'll send it away either if you get outside of the zone at this point. You know, it's ideal to move fast, but if that's the case, it actually makes extraction a little bit easier. I think like we have no problem right here.
Well, and that kind of leads it. Honestly, this is kind of the end of our video. We've got 1 minute to go. We don't really fight any more bots. You know, they're just too far away. We end up getting 3 stars on this mission. I think we put in a combined about 600 kills, a little less, maybe 530 kills. This was one of the most fun missions I think we've had together. We've probably played now about 30 or 40 missions together. I had a blast on this one, and I think it did come down, you know, again, wrapping back to those 4 things we're talking about. Team, just chemistry, really. We're talking about team weapons, but, you know, just working as a team. Stratagem combos, you know, feeling like you're, you know, a good boxer doesn't jab. A good boxer, you know, hits him with a jab, then a hook, right? And that's kind of what we're trying to get better at, is becoming competent at, you know, putting together legitimate combos. Ambushing, you know, so you're not just on the back foot the entire game, which is what a lot of this game is just running. We never got into a run here. You know, we did die, like you said, but we never were running, which was really fun, because usually I'm running a lot in this game, but if you play like this, you don't have to. And then fortification, and even right here, we got that, right? He's got his fortified turret down. I'm watching his back. So, you know, hit those things. It made for a super fun game for me to play, and I hope for you to watch. Juice, give them 20 seconds of your send-off, and we'll get these guys out of the way.
If you want to enjoy this game more, look for different ways to challenge yourself and find someone that you want to explore all the possibilities with. And if you haven't found that person yet, just come hang out with us on our videos and, you know, try out some of the things that we're doing. And yeah, we want to have that relationship with you guys where it feels like we're finding stuff out together. We had bombing comments on the last video where we learned a bunch of stuff, and we have data to go back to and try some things out. So that is awesome. Thank you guys. Continue to be democratic, and thank God and Super Earth for capitalism.
Yeah, very good. All right, guys. Well, if you like that video, definitely click this video right here, and you can watch me and Justice have another run just like this on the more stealthy tactical side, and we think you'd really like that. Peace.